Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we are looking at Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. A great song to play on guitar, and the song is about playing guitar. So we've got lots of little things to add into our toolbox potentially depending on where you're at, but just a fun song to play in general. We've got power chords, open chords, bar chords, palm muting, arpeggios in two sections. In the interlude and the pre-chorus, actually in the bridge as well. Yeah, so some different picking patterns there, which will definitely be good work for both hands, depending on what chord shape we're holding here and what strings we need to find. So let's jump right in. So initially with the verse, all we have happening is a lot of palm muting going on. So for the verse, the chords that we're going to see are D major, right? And also D5. D major, D5 is just a D major chord, but without the middle finger on, without string 1 being pressed down. Right, in open position. And then A major, I was playing with a bar all the way through in the beginning. And then in the interlude, I play the A with fingers 2, 3, 4 like that. So I'm actually going to change the way that I play that for the purpose of what's being played, to access certain notes. So I'll break all that down. But in the verse, we have this pattern going on with the strumming and palm muting. That's what's being played over and over. So you got to keep track of the two measures. There's only 2 strums there, and the rest is palm muting, right? All downstrokes. And for the counters out there, it is on 1 and the and of 2 of the first measure. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 then you just get your palm mute adjusted over here, depending on how much sound you want coming through. That could also be related to if you're doing it on electric or acoustic, how much distortion you got going. So you can mute a little bit more on electric and still get that sound coming through because of the amplification and the distortion. Acoustic could be a little bit different. So again, that pattern. So there's a lot of palm muting that follows that second strum, so you want to be aware of where you are beat count wise and measure wise. So if you're not familiar with counting, this will be a great opportunity for that. You got to hear the kind of overall, but it can also be easy to get lost in there because everything is just kind of flat after that second strum. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I feel like it's important to know where the start of that second measure is. Otherwise, you might add a little bit or not go far enough, and you're not really sure, right? So, like I said, good opportunity for counting. So it just does that once with the D5 chord for the intro. And then he's going to start singing, do the D5 again. And A. And I'm really just playing strings 5, 4, and 3 there, using the bar. Kind of keep it in that power chord realm, right? And then straight back to D. And A. So intro. And then he starts singing. Okay, and then for the next part of the verse, it just goes to strumming and no palm muting. So that's what I was doing in the beginning. So I'm using a D major chord and an A major chord. So it just kind of opens up a little bit in terms of the sound there at that point. And I was just doing a quick little, I think like a down up down, kind of mimicking what I'm hearing in the audio. And you just let it ring out. All right. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just back and forth between D and A there. Okay. Then we get to the pre-chorus. That's our first arpeggio section. So I got a B minor chord here. I don't technically need a full bar because I'm not going to be playing string 1. So I'm on string 5 fret 2, string 4 fret 4, string 3 fret 4, and string 2 fret 3. So the pattern is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. And that's the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and, sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, and then I just let my index finger bar the A major chord, again using strings 5, 4, 3, 2, down, up, up, D major, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, string wise, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, and G major. I'm going to do this way. This is just the way that I originally learned it. You could technically use, bar chords here, but I'm staying in open position. So I'm using that fingering, finger 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to play 6, 4, 3, 1, 2. Okay, 6, 4, 3, 1, 2. Let me go through that again. So B minor. A major, sorry. D major. G major. Repeat that. B minor. A major. D major. And G major. B minor one more time. Repeat that progression, and then it's just B minor and A. So again. Okay. Then the little interlude riff, probably the most challenging part out of it all, just for the speed, I guess, and then trying to manage the transitions from one chord to the other. It's not too bad, but just on a D major and an A major chord, but what we have happening is, on the interlude, what we have happening is that the highest string of each chord, the note is moving around, okay? So it's all going to be built around a D major chord, talking about this part. All we have happening there is we're going from playing around with that top string open, 2, and 3. So it's like a D sus2, D major, D sus4. So I'll pick out the pattern right now. I'll give you some more details here in a second, but then I'm going to do it just by strumming so you can hear that top note without the arpeggios. So alright, so if I just strum that, that's D sus2, D major, D sus4, D major, D sus2, D major. That's the pattern. And I'm using my middle finger here as standard for the D, and then pinky on string 1 fret 3. So again. And you might find another picking pattern that works well for you. This is what I recommend though. So I'm going to go down, up, down, 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 up. So it's like these little groups of 3, right? And that gives it this unique sound, unique rhythmic feel. And then it kind of squares away at the end with those groups of 2. So group of 3 here. Group of 3, group of 3, group of 3, and then 2 groups of 2 here. So strings I'm picking, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to do the exact same thing on the A chord. So it's A major, A sus2, and A sus4. I think I mentioned it earlier in the video. I'm using fingers 2, 3, and 4 for my A major here. So I'm going to start off with just fingers 2 and 3 on string 4 fret 2 there and string 3 fret 2. And we're going to use the exact same pattern, but we're just on strings 2, 3, and 4 instead of 1, 2, and 3. So this is open, fret 2, fret 3, and I just push my pinky out there, back to fret 2, and then open, and 2. Okay, so string-wise, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3. Same picking pattern as before, down, up, down, 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 up. And you could also play this the same way as we were doing before with the just the strum of the chords. So those are the fingerings I like just because it's easier for me to get in and out of those chords. You might find another fingering that works better for you. Like, I know a lot of people like going from D to A, keeping finger 1 on there, and then dropping fingers 2 and 3 back like that. I don't particularly care for that because it cramps my fingers up. Just doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel conducive to easy movement. I can just drop 2, 3, 4 stacked on top of one another like that very easily. But you know, what can be said for that is coming out of D into A, it can make that transition feel a little bit more manageable, and that's why people will like it. So as long as you don't cram yourself in there and start clipping the strings too much, you could use that. So play around with options, right? Always experiment with this stuff. You want to understand movement based on, you know, some of your natural abilities, natural movement, but take cues from people who say, you know, this works best for me. There's usually going to be reasoning behind that, but it doesn't mean that it's the only way, right? There are many things that I run into that other great guitarists do, and I'm like, well, I don't like it that way, so I'll change it as long as it doesn't, you know, the music doesn't suffer for it. Then I'm going to make it work for me. Okay, so I recommend you do the same for yourself. So that part's going to come back several times. Fun little arpeggio section to play, and then you have the bridge, and that's pretty much it. So the bridge, I'm using 6-string bar chords, F. So that is from string 6 to 1. My fret numbers are 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. And it's going to be that same shape for every chord here. I'm going to slide this all the way up to fret 6, B flat major, and then up to 8th fret here, C major. So the first time through on the bridge, just 3 strums per chord. And back to B flat. Okay, one more time. Second time through, arpeggios. So I'm going to use those same chord shapes, but I'm going to play 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. 6, 5, 4, 1, 2. And then B flat, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then C chord, 6, 5, 4, 2. I think I may have said 3, 2 there. 6, 5, 4, 2, 3. I'll do that again. So 6, 5, 4, 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 2, 3, and 6, 5, 4, 2. Okay, so all the way through the bridge with the strumming first. F, B flat, C, F with the arpeggio, and I believe that jumps back into so that's a great little that arpeggio section is a great little pick exercise for the right hand, and just using very soft picking, minimal movement, being able to protract and retract that pick in and out of the strings, right? So, as I always say, don't start these things fast. Understand the movement, understand the fundamentals of it. And when you feel something start to click and you're kind of putting that information together, organizing it and understanding it, then you can start speeding it up. I think that's what a lot of folks run into, where these things feel like too much. It's just, you got to feel comfortable with the chords, you got to feel comfortable with the transitions, you got to feel comfortable with the picking directions, and then the speed is always that thing that all of us just in general get hung up on, because we're fascinated by it, right? The speed factor is like, oh man, I want to be able to play fast. All the other things allow the speed to come, right? That's a great thing to remember. Slow practice goes a long way. That is everything, guys. As always, break them down section by section. Listen to the song. Once you get these things individually feeling comfortable, then you start thinking about how you're going to piece it together. I think in the tune, they start overlapping some of those parts. So a lot of times that happens pretty frequently, and you can listen to it and say, okay, well, they're playing both of those parts. You can either play the more dominant part, or just choose whichever one you like to play, or have fun playing the most. But that is it. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next video. Thanks.